Welcome back, guys. I'm so sorry this video is a tiny little bit late being uploaded to my kind of normal schedule. I have decided to have all of my pregnancy challenges that I hadn't had before. The second I said that, I had them all in 1 week, and I've had a bit of extended time in hospitals, all kinds of drama going on, which I don't really respond well to. So I'm glad to be back and chatting to you guys instead. But it is perfect timing because it coincides with the finishing of the main entrance area in terms of the work that we are doing up until now. And it's going to be brilliant. I can see this morning that there's some last little finishing touches just being finished off, and it's so teasing. I can't wait to get out and film, although it will give the weather an opportunity to come a tiny bit brighter if we could, please. I always get a dull day when I'm filming for you guys, and it's just Britain, isn't it? But I'm so excited to see all of the design come together. I'm quite minimalist, I would say, by instinct, but whenever you're doing a project, you have to get involved with the architectural merit of something and just give it that pizzazz that has your personality, but it's still very much in keeping with the style of the building, and that you're not kind of reinventing the wheel and making it something that it's not intended to be. And I think I've done that. I think this building deserves to have a celebration, and there are some rather fancy things in terms of my normal style, but I feel like I've done it really tastefully and it just looks epic. So I'm going to say that it's epic and I'm really happy with it. I'd love to know what you guys think if you watch to the end and see the final result. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider hitting that button because it helps other people to find me too. This video will be a mixture of footage that I've taken over time, so you guys can come and share little bits of it along the way, and there's lots of information in there as to how I've approached the design process. So let's get stuck into the entrance design, and I'm so excited.
Whenever I start a design project like this one, I always like to evaluate what we've got in situ at the moment, which might be of benefit for us to keep moving forward. I look at what we've got aesthetically, what is functioning, what needs fixing, and what needs replacing. Some elements might be a compromise because they are too big a jobs just to take on, and it would hold up the whole of the process if you were to wait for a costly or a time-consuming job to be done before you could start anything. In this instance, the first thing that jumps out at us with this entrance area is the colour of the door. I don't think it celebrates the entrance at all, and I think just by changing the colour would be a huge improvement. If we look at how the entrance area is currently intended to be lit, it looks like these fittings have just been added on purely for functional reasons. They haven't been chosen to enhance the aesthetics of the entrance area. These fittings don't actually work, and also they don't look to have been maintained for a long time. There's exposed wires, there's hanging wires that don't seem to lead anywhere. I think we can conclude on those that those would be omitted, and something that is more aesthetic and celebrates the entrance lighting wise in a much better way. If we move on to the brassware, we can see there's been some modern fittings added to the door, which can definitely be removed, and we can put something that is a little bit more of a statement piece there in its place. As well as assessing the brassware and whether the knobs work functionally, whether they're worth cleaning up, I feel like the proportions of those doorknobs for what you would expect of a door this size, they seem a little bit undersized. There's also some old locks that have been painted over, so we can make good on those. The letterbox is actually an unusual size, but I think that that could be cleaned up if we can't find another one. If you have a look at the quality of paintwork, it's had years of being filled in. I think there's probably putty being added to it, some kind of fillet, or it could be that the sap from the wood has made some of the paintwork bubble, but there are lots of areas of making good, making smooth before we can change the colour of the door, and just to finish it so that it's got that smooth, sleek appearance. Around the door we can see that we've got some areas to fix up. It's not in too bad a condition. I don't think it needs stripping, just the circular details that we've got there. Some of us need fixing up, and I think that's probably all that we need to address on the framework. Looking at the steps outside, they've had fixing work done before. I think it might be a case of replacing the top stonework or recladding it at some point in the future, and just going back to my earlier comment of not waiting until you can do absolutely every job before you start on anything. I think it's probably a case of phasing this project in that the stonework gets cleaned up as best it can, any areas filled in that are obviously in need of fixing in the meantime. And we have a clear idea as to what we like for our entrance area, what needs removing and what we're keeping. We can then get stuck into some research. We can have a look at other doors of a similar era, other projects that are similar in grandeur that might give us some inspiration as to how we can celebrate our entrance. And then it's just a case of saving those off, getting an idea of the bigger picture, and then starting to work on the details. So I mentioned earlier that the knobs were pretty undersized for the size of that door, so I wanted huge knockers. But I didn't realise what a mission it would be to find them. Usually you would search for large centre knobs because those are the knobs that are typically seen on oversized doors, and they're a little bit more of a celebration if you've got something that is a bit of a statement. Still struggled to find something big enough and in the right size. This is something I went backwards and forwards on for a very long time before I could find something that I felt really nailed the brief in my mind for the door. I was definitely on a mission with these, and I found some. So they were ordered from overseas in the end, and we did wonder if they would be a little bit too big, but the door could actually take them even bigger, I think. That's how big the door is. So when they arrived, I was really pleased with these, and I think it gives a nice hybrid between something that is large and solid, but it's still quite delicate in that it's got some ornate features to give it that little bit of balance. I did have a little look at doorbells purely because once the work in the area has been done, we weren't sure if it would work and we need to start replacing bits. So just wanted to have in my mind's eye what we might replace it with. But for now, we're going to look at polishing it up and seeing if we can keep the one that's already there. I also got an idea of letterboxes that are available and things that I feel might be fitting for this project. But for the moment, we'll leave the one that is unusually sized there. It can get cleaned up, and I'll look out for one when we visit all of these wonderful reclaimers shops that I plan on pottering around in the warmer weather. Pulling all of the bits and bobs that I loved together on a sheet is a really helpful thing to do. It just mind maps how I'm feeling about everything. I can delete a lot of the options that I might have put forward in the initial stages. You'll also see on that sheet that there are key coverings and some letterbox options as well. So just keeping those in mind so that we can address the design holistically. So on with the cardboard cutouts. There was a knob that I really liked that was quite ornate, really lovely, but the fear was that it was going to be too small. And after putting the cardboard templates on the door and also comparing them to the larger ones, we could see which ones were the more statement piece and more suitable to the project. Planting is also a really important part when you're designing an entrance area. It brings an architectural structure, but with a softness as well between all those hard architectural edges. You'll have seen from my previous videos that I've been experimenting with different lighting styles in the grounds, and that I'm pretty set on what we're doing in terms of lighting. It was just a case of choosing a lantern fitting for the front door. We're good to go on the lighting, and lighting is just such an important feature on a project like this. We've got the planting kind of in our mind's eye as to where we're going with that. We know what we're doing with brassware, colours, we know what needs fixing up, we know what we need to buy, what we don't need to buy, so we can get going with more fun stuff. Garden centre morning. How excited are we?
Very excited.
Very excited. We're heading for coffee first, standard, and we are continuing our hunt for gigantic pots for the entrance of the house, which I think I might have found some. Not sure if they're quite big enough, although when I've measured and eye it in, we think that they might be okay, but we're just going to go and have a little nosy around some different garden centres and get some coffee, have a look at the bakery section, and yeah, just have a nice Sunday, aren't we?
Oh yes.
Had a Costa voucher expiring today, so we've been for a super large coffee and whipped cream.
Buzzing now after that one.
There's like 4 shots in it or something for Darren.
Weird.
I'm on rations because I'm pregnant, but the cream bit was nice. So yeah, quick detour to go and get our free coffee that was expiring today. And now it's garden centre time.
Here we go. Life is a journey.
Could we find a winner in here? I think we've got there on size, it's just the texture. So we're getting warmer. Every time we get a little bit closer, I'll get that little bit more excited, but these actually look much bigger in real life. But yeah, closer to making a decision, I think. So this gives you a little example of another thing that we need to consider. So see how this part is, it's kind of in proportion with the plant, which is good. But then, if you go for your extra large planters over here, the planter starts to swallow up the shrub that's inside it. So you just have to be mindful of what type of shrub that you want when choosing your pot, and that you can actually get one big enough, because things like topiary balls, they don't come huge, they take a long time to grow, and also they get very expensive the bigger you get. Just found another area of pots. My battery's run out on my camera, but so much to look at. Finally, we have got the perfect pots. I absolutely love them. That feels like a huge thing ticked off the list. So now we just need to research what type of plants we would like and what will do well in that area of the garden, just depending on sun position and all that clever stuff. More of the fun stuff. I love looking at furniture knobs, weirdly enough. But yeah, we just need a couple of items to go on in an internal cupboard. And the super fun stuff, workmates. It's been ages since I've owned a workmate actually, and I think I need two, but I don't want to be indulgent, so I'll start off with one and see how I go. Time to finally nail down that paint colour. We have a lot of choice, but today's the day. Final decision needs to be made. We have gathered very well today, haven't we?
Massive hunter gathering.
Have to gathered. We've chosen our paint. I don't think I can show you on here because the colour toning might look a little bit different, but we picked ones that are very close together, and the one that we're going to go for is this one. Although it's not quite as blue as that, it's more of an anthracite with a hint of blue, which is just perfect. And it's a good job that we didn't bring the dog on this trip. Normally he comes everywhere with us, but we felt we might need the car space. We are packed to the rafters. Darren's doing the unloading because I'm pregnant and I'm not allowed to carry anything.
Yeah, that's excuse for everything.
I actually miss doing things for myself, but I'm wrapped in cotton wool. But sometimes you just got to give in because he doesn't do anything else. I never thought I'd be that person that spent the afternoon brushing their columns. But here we are. Just going to be ace when it's finished. This is where we're up to on the door. So excited to get this done, as I keep saying. I thought the guys seemed really patient doing this, but they actually really enjoyed doing it because getting all the old lumpy stuff off and just making it all nice and smooth and filling in just seems to have quite a lot of job satisfaction. So I'm excited to see how they finish it off. Wow.
might be a bit small. They're lovely, but I think smaller than what I thought they were going to be. How's that?
I really like them, but I just think they might be a bit small. I think I'll cross-reference what they measured to what we ordered, because I feel like they're smaller than what they should be. Another day. Today is the day some of the electrical work is happening outside, which I really think will help bring the design alive. I ordered a huge roll of armoured cable there because we will be phasing the works to the ground, and I might want to split it into mini phasing and just add little bits on here and there. That weighs an absolute ton. There's just one of the lanterns there at the back, and we've got some waterproof gel covers down there, and I've also bought some PIRs so that we can have some of the lights on a movement sensor. I'm so looking forward to the lights going in and just adding that extra sparkle.
Finito.
We've got all kinds of bricks, gravel and compost going on, ready to do the potting. This is compost that is for plants that like acidic soil, like rhododendrons and the plants that we've bought to go in our planters. So they should do well with that.
One in.
Check it.